The other day I did a video about a vicious circle where you own a property but you need to buy something, but you need to sell to buy, and they need to sell to buy, and so on and so forth, and it ends up with this vicious cycle where there's less properties on the market. I've had a bit of a conversation with a few of my clients where they've reached out and wanted to know a bit more about their options going forward. So if you're not lucky enough to be able to get bridging finance or a bridging loan, there's sort of 4 options that you can look for. Now, the standard option, option 1, is subject to sale. Now, you might be wanting to just stay put and wait for the market to cool a little bit, where your subject to sale offer becomes a bit more attractive. Ultimately, you still got to pay a bit of a premium on a subject to sale, but you're paying a premium for the convenience of not having to move out of your place and not having to go find a rental and not having to rent for a while. So there is a bit of a premium to be paid on that. Option number 2 is you sell with a long settlement, and you either have a rent back option or you have that long settlement of 3 months, and then you try and find something from the unconditional date with subject to settlement. So what you can do, get your property on the market, get it sold, then start looking. The risk is that if you don't find something within that 3 months, you do end up having to move out, finding something to rent, be it short-term or longer-term rental, and then find something to buy. So you can get caught up in the leases and stuff like that. However, if you've already sold, your money will be in the bank account, making you a bit of money on the side, a bit of interest, but at the same time, you will be paying rent. So there's a bit of a negative there. The other next option, option number 3, is that you sell, move out and rent straight away. Now, this is probably one of the better options for people that are a bit fussier when they come to buying. However, if you wait too long and the market changes, if the market goes down, you might be doing well. But we always say buy and sell in the same market, so you're not running the risk of market going up extraordinarily above what you were hoping to buy in for. So that one's definitely an option where you can move out, put the money in the bank, again, earn that interest on the money, and then buy when you find the right property. Now, option number 4 is the riskiest option of them all. I've spoken to someone recently who has done this, where they actually bought a property and then they gave it a 3-month settlement, and then they put their place on the market trying to sell within that 3 months. They didn't have a subject to sale, they didn't have bridging finance, so if they didn't sell their property, they were going to be in big strife when it came to collect on the property they were purchasing. Now, they got a bit nervous and they got a good offer. It wasn't a bad offer, but they did accept it, and they sort of said, look, we probably accepted a little bit lower than we wanted to, but at the same time, we are happy because it's done and dusted. So, maybe they were a bit nervous about not being able to achieve the price that they wanted. Also jumped on the first offer because it meant their transaction went through. Now, in their case, it worked out quite well because they said they'd actually purchased the property they were looking at for about $100,000 cheaper than what they thought they were going to, and therefore were able to sell for about $100,000 cheaper than what they thought they were going to as well. So in some respects, worked out quite well, but very, very risky. So most of my clients, they end up going for option 2 and 3, with a few opting for option 1. Main reason is option 2 and 3 are probably the least stressful situations to be selling your property in. Now, we have been able to do an off-market recently where we managed to negotiate a rent-back clause in the back end of that deal, allowing the sellers to literally relax, knowing they've got 3 months to buy something. In the end, they didn't need it, but the whole thing was that they were relaxed about the whole process. Now, before you should consider any of these options, what's the first thing you should do? You should get your place ready to sell. You don't want to go out and start looking for a property, find the perfect property, and then realize it's going to take you 3 months to get your place ready to sell. You want to have it ready to go, regardless of whether you're subject to sale or going on the market to rent back. You want to have it ready to go before you really start looking at anything to buy and discussing anything else. So look, speak to a local real estate agent about what you need to do to get your property ready to sell, and then chat about what it might be worth on the open market. Obviously, keep in mind the market's always changing. At the moment it's going up, it might turn and go down, or it might plateau. Buyers' demand changes as well. So whatever they say price-wise, it's not always going to be locked in stone, but keep it in the back of your mind that that's likely what you're going to achieve for your property. So therefore, you know what you're going to spend on the next one. If you've got any questions, reach out at any time.